Hello, my name is Felix Thompson, and I'm a reporter at Global Trade Review GTR. We're publishing an events company that focuses specifically on the international trade and trade finance industry. I'd like to welcome you today to the launch event for a new report from the International Islamic Trade Finance Corporation and the Statistical, Economic and Social Research and Training Center for Islamic Countries, or CESRIC, on the impact of the African Continental Free Trade Area on 6 member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. After years of talks, African countries officially started trading under the African Continental FTA on January 1st. As we all know, the FTA aims to bring together 54 member states of the African Union, a market of 1.2 billion people with a combined GDP of about $2.5 trillion. 37 countries have now reportedly ratified the agreement, and by the time it's fully operational, with cross-border tariffs expected to be removed on 90% of goods by 2030, it could be the world's largest free trade zone. Such an agreement obviously brings with it a lot of opportunities and promises to change not only the types of goods African countries import and export, but also the main markets they trade with. In turn, the agreement is expected to be a major economic boon for nations across the continent. Now, in this new analysis from the ITFC and CESRIC, the organizations lay out in detail the impact the African Continental FTA could have on 6 countries that are members of the OIC, namely Côte d'Ivoire, Egypt, Guinea, Mozambique, Tunisia, and Uganda. Just to give a brief rundown of how the event's going to go today, we'll have some initial opening remarks from ITFC CEO, Engineer Hani Salam Sombol, and CESRIC's Director General, Mr. Nabil Dabur, after which they'll join me, as well as Mrs. Ngone Diop, a policy expert and economist who serves as Director of the West Africa Office to the UN's Economic Commission for Africa, for a lively discussion where we'll talk about some of the main themes of the report. This should last about half an hour, and then I'll hold a brief Q&A with some of the top trade negotiators from Guinea, Senegal, and Tunisia who were involved in the African Continental FTA discussions. Before we get going, I just have some quick housekeeping to do, as you can see on the screen right now, for our viewers tuning in from around the world. We have translators with us today, translating both from English to French and French to English. So if you require translation, just head to the bottom of your Zoom screen and hit the globe button. Attendees can also submit questions to be answered by our panelists towards the end of the event at the bottom of the page through the Q&A function. And as you can see on the screen now also, the event has also been broadcast live on YouTube. So yeah, if you have any difficulties with your Zoom, you can head and watch it there instead. You can also submit questions through there. So yes, now we've got those bits of housekeeping out of the way, I'd like to first welcome ITFC CEO, Engineer Hani Salam Sombol, to provide some brief welcoming remarks. With 3 decades of experience in development banking, he served in various technical and high-level positions across the Islamic Development Bank Group, including in Africa as Director of ISDB's Regional Office for Morocco. Engineer Sombol, I would like to invite you now to offer some brief remarks.
Thank you very much. Is my voice clear now?
Very much so, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Excellency Mr. Nabil Dabur, the Director General of CESRIC, and also dear Mrs. Ngone Diop, the Director of UNICA. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, where you are. I would like to really thank you, all of you actually, for being present with us today in this very important occasion, actually to launch the report of the potential impact of this African CFTA on selected OIC member countries. I would like first to express our sincere appreciations to Mr. Nabil Dabur, Director General of CESRIC, and all of his team for the fruitful partnership with ITFC. I would like also to seize this occasion to warmly thank you all and other partners, institutions that have devoted their time for the completion of this report. The African Union, through the Department of Economic Development, trade, industry, and mining, the UNICA through its official offices in Rabat, West Africa, and IDB, and the AfCFTA Secretariat. As you all know, this agreement is a great opportunity for Africa, but also for many other regions in the world. Taking the OIC as an example, we have 57 OIC member countries already spread across 5 continents and take part collectively in a minimum of 19 regional economic cooperation arrangements, including, of course, the 8 African regional economic communities. Each of these regional arrangements are meant to expand actually markets and to create trade, investment, aiming at the increasing of the benefits of the regional cooperation. We are very confident that this agreement will hold immense potentials for Africa. The CFTA will profoundly transform Africa, being one of the largest, actually, if not the largest agreement since the establishment of the WTO, and the most diverse as well. Some sectors will develop, others may disappear. Changes in trade structure will occur and shift demand for labor and capital is going to be present. With this research report, we are inviting our member countries to adopt strategies and methods to identify emerging business opportunities at sectorial levels to better prepare for these changes. Our member countries in Africa will need support in the form of technical assistance, financing, and also to adjust any changes they require to accelerate finance and also accelerate the implementation of this agreement. This is where ITFC and all the partners that are hereby today can continue to play a key role. We already have started in ITFC to do so in cooperations with IDB and UNICA, EIF, the African Union, Africa Exim Bank, other institutions like Badia, and as well as the CFTA Secretariat. At the ITFC level, already started developing and implementing programs to address challenges related to the implementation of the agreement. For example, the Arab-Africa Trade Bridge program is supporting African foreign trade and other sectors, while in West Africa, the SME development program is providing technical assistance to SMEs to enhance their role in the development process. ITFC will continue to act decisively to support trade in Africa in the coming years, especially in the context of this agreement. We remain confident together we will continue to add value and contribute to the success of the African development and the OIC member countries. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you very much for those comments, Engineer Sumbul. Now in terms of Mr. Dabur, Director General at CESRIC, an organisation which was founded as a subsidiary of the OIC to, among various functions, collect and disseminate socio-economic statistics on member countries and helping them with policy decisions. Mr. Dabur, would you like to now provide your initial remarks as well, please? Mr. Dabur, I think you might be on mute. You might have to, could someone help so we can hear Mr. Dabur's comments, please? Okay, perfect. You're now off mute, Mr. Dabur. Once again, yeah, big thanks for joining us. And yeah, we can now hear you loud and clear if you want to start again.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a great pleasure for me to address this launch event of the joint research report prepared by CESRIC and ITFC on the potential impacts of the African Continental Free Trade Area on selected OIC member countries. At the outset, let me express my sincere thanks and appreciation to His Excellency Engineer Hani Salim Sombel, CEO of ITFC, and his team for their excellent cooperation with CESRIC during the preparation of the study, as well as the organization of this important event. ITFC and CESRIC have been long-standing partners in supporting the efforts of the OIC member countries towards enhancing their socio-economic development. I'm pleased to see that the scope of this partnership has been further expanding over the last years, generating significant outcomes for the benefits of the OIC member countries. Within the framework of this excellent cooperation, we signed last year an MOU to initiate a joint project on the potential impacts of the African Continental Free Trade Area on OIC countries in Africa. Through this partnership, we agreed to engage in evidence-based research to inform the policymakers on different implications of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement on national economies. As part of this partnership, we agreed to produce jointly 3 technical reports. We are pleased to have the first report finalized through excellent collaboration of the team members at both CICRIC and ITFC. We are also excited to proceed with the next 2 reports over the upcoming period. Excellencies, we believe that the agreement on African Continental Free Trade Area is a crucial milestone in enhancing economic cooperation and integration among the African countries. However, such endeavors usually bring both challenges and opportunities for the concerned countries, with positive and negative impacts on different segments of the society. Therefore, it is necessary for the partner countries to understand both the opportunities and the challenges associated with such initiatives. Accordingly, they should design the appropriate policies to address the challenges and ensure the availability of the tools and resources needed to effectively implement these policies. It is also essential for them to identify the opportunities arising from this agreement and seek the ways and means to successfully utilize them. This should be based on and supported by evidence-based research. In fact, the CICRIC-ITFC partnership serves exactly this purpose. We have joined our hands to identify the potential challenges and opportunities by producing technical research reports and thereby support the efforts of the member countries towards addressing these challenges and utilizing these opportunities. As a subsidiary organ of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, CICRIC has demonstrated over the past 4 decades its capacity and professionalism to successfully fulfill its mandate, which was entrusted to it 43 years ago. The Center has accumulated solid experience and successful achievements in the 3 areas of its mandate, namely statistics, research, and training. Over the years, we have introduced various measures and methodologies and launched new approaches and programs to strengthen the role of CICRIC in supporting and contributing to the efforts of our member countries and to the organization itself vis-a-vis the challenges they face in their development efforts. As the only OIC institution mandated to work in the domain of statistics, CICRIC is the main repository of statistics and information on and for the OIC member countries. The Center collects and disseminates high-quality statistics on and for the use of OIC member countries and the organization itself in order to better inform them about each other's potentials, capacities, and needs, and thus facilitate their cooperation in various fields and through different modalities. At the same time, the Center serves as the Secretariat of the OIC Statistical Commission, the only OIC cooperation fora in the domain of statistics similar to the United Nations Statistical Commission. CICRIC is also considered as the main socio-economic research organ of the OIC. The Center undertakes the task of preparing regular policy-oriented technical background reports and studies, as well as strategic cooperation documents in a wide range of socio-economic issues on the OIC agenda. The Center submits and presents these reports and documents to the various relevant OIC sectoral ministerial conferences. In so doing, CICRIC supports and contributes to the OIC high-level policy dialogue mechanism by analyzing the current situation at the OIC level and suggesting the appropriate policy actions that need to be taken in order to address the challenges and enhance intra-Islamic cooperation in the relevant areas. In the area of training and technical cooperation, CISRIC plays a significant role in enhancing South-South cooperation among the member countries. The Center has been over the years initiating and implementing many capacity building programs on various socio-economic areas and sectors. These programs aim at facilitating the transfer and exchange of knowledge, know-how, experiences, and best practices among the member countries using different modalities and practical approaches, and through effective partnership and cooperation with relevant OIC national and international institutions. Before concluding, I would like to say that we recognize the importance of the free trade agreement among the African countries, as well as the challenges associated with the agreement. There is a long way to go with respect to raising awareness and building the capacities of relevant national institutions in countries. Addressing these and other challenges will directly translate into opportunities for increased competitiveness, market integration, and business opportunities for all African countries. This will also improve intra-OIC economic and commercial linkages. In this context, let me reassure you that CISRIC, as usual, stands ready and willing to work closely with the OIC member countries with a view to supporting and contributing to their development efforts. May Allah Almighty support and help us all and guide our efforts and steps towards the prosperity and welfare of our member countries and the Islamic Ummah at large. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks very much for that, Mr. Zubair. Those some very interesting comments. And now, before we launch into the panel session, we just got a quick video to show you, showing some of the main findings from the report. Yeah, could we now play that video, please? Great. Well, hopefully that video gave you some idea of the key findings of the report. And Yana, we're now going to have a panel discussion with Engineer Sombol, Mr. Dubber, and then also Mrs. Ngone Diop, an economist and policy expert who serves as director of the West Africa office for the UN's Economic Commission for Africa, to speak about some of the standout themes from the analysis. So let's just launch into it then. One main point from the paper is that intra-African trade continues to lag, with stats from the report revealing how OIC African countries largely export to major and established economies such as the EU instead of counterparts on the continent. Mrs. Diop, coming to you first, how will the FTA encourage the 6 countries to boost exports to and imports from other partners on the continent?
Thank you very, very much. Before even responding to your question, I would like to thank very much ITFC COE, Engineer Annie Sombol, and Monsieur Nabil Dabo, who is the DG of CESRIC, for the very strategic partnership ECA is having with ITFC to support our member state, really extending the implementation of the CFTA. We're really delighted for this partnership, and we look forward to doing more. So thank you very, very much. Let me also congratulate us for a very comprehensive report. Very, very comprehensive, substantive by statistic. I mean, in a very complete way. The fact that they dig in country experience and using a general equilibrium model to actually assess in a very prospective way the potential impact of CFTA is extremely important. So I would like to thank them very much for that. Yes, right now we know as of 2019 that inter-Africa trade stood, I think it stood to 16%, only 16%. And that is ECA research that actually found it in a very empirical way. We've done that research and found it, which means we can do a lot. And we also know that with the CFTA, it can quickly rise to 52.7, let's say 53%. So it means the gap is huge. What does it take to actually address that? What does it take, and what are the key things that make us lag behind? I think the CFTA not only can give us room and opportunity to reverse the trends, but before tackling what are the key responses, what are the key policies or strategies that can really reverse that trend, which would like to return that the back and butter of the CFTA. Let's flag 3 key challenges that actually have been at the heart of what we say. We know that the report have largely and widely shown that things can change, that there are potential here and there. We know also that there will be some challenges. But from the outset, we know if there are 3 key dimensions and challenges that actually make that the intra-Africa trade lagging behind with the statistic of 16 I have said. Number 1 is the infrastructure. Right now, I think whatever we do, we found that even countries which are making strides to trying to accelerate the implementation of the CFTA by developing national strategy and start now to doing what we call in West Africa, for instance, in the whole Africa, promoting made in Africa, made in West Africa and so on. Infrastructure gap has been defined challenges. And a number which is so staggering can actually speak to that. Right now, we know that the infrastructure gap in Africa is between 130 billion to 170 billion per year. And when we say infrastructure gap, it really cut across all the sectors, be it the very small and simple transport of goods and services. But before that, you need to add value to those goods. And even adding value, you need the infrastructure. You need infrastructure to be able to support the creation of value chain, be it local and regional value chain. So that infrastructure which cuts across everything actually is a defining challenge. And it actually keep in this kind of status quo, which is our country are not trading between themselves. Instead of trading between themselves, they actually trade more and more with external partners, which means the kind of opportunity we have are actually postponed for how many times. So infrastructure gap is a key defined challenges. The other key defined challenges is very related because those challenges are mutually reinforcing, is energy. It's actually estimated as of 2019 that 600 million of Africans, they do not have access to quality energy. When I say quality energy, it's really quality energy that is not linked to the old issue we know when it comes to energy through the gas and charcoal, etc. So quality energy, which is healthy, which can help them not only to produce and productive production, is actually missing. So this is a challenge which explained in the whole research we've done so far, be it the whole African countries, but West African countries, we're finding it as a defining challenge. Related to that is the kind of human capital required to be able to add value, because we are research endowment. Our research endowment in Africa actually are huge. But to be able to translate it into product with high quality, add value to them, you do also need energy. So that human capital is there, but the adaptation, the mastery, there's a kind of mismatch between the human capital which we have, which is good, with the requirement for the CFTA to be able to translate it into real opportunity for change and for wealth creation in a way that can be inclusive, that can be transformative, and that can yield really kind of development in quick one. So human capital, if you look at all the African countries, they are very good experts here and there. But implementing the CFTA and turning the opportunity of 3.6 billion of GDP into real reality require human capital that be able to really more innovative, very kind of limiting the reduce the process. When I said the process is the process of transforming the goods and services which require, again, infrastructure, energy, but also human capital that can really be cost effective by using new technology more and by using more innovative instruments and approaches that can help to shorten the process of transformation of goods and services. Those three are key, but there are many more. And the many more are the fact that the market also, another one which is related. The market are quite small. The market are not linked to each other. Again, infrastructure is one of them. And the lack of understanding the real needs and accurate information that can really speak to what the population need, what the children need, what the actors in the market need, what are the challenges in a given time, and be able to look. I mean, those are kind of things that explain why we are lagging behind. I don't know whether I should go through how do we respond to that. Maybe I can pause there, but those are critical ones. And all the other challenges you will find are extremely linked to those I have just mentioned, be it access to the market, be it be able to have just a small unit and produce, and is also related to infrastructure. Be it also equipping the youth and of course women who are the majority of the production chain actually are related also to that. So, and for me, I think if we tackle the package, that kind of primary package of challenges that are struggling and that actually have so negative externalities in the process of change, be it building value production at a local, regional level, then we will not be able to address the other challenges. We will not be able to translate the meaningful potential of the CFTA into concrete action and into concrete change, the lasting change we are really looking for. So this unprecedented, the first in its kind in Africa, which is the CFTA. And I say it's the first in its kind in the world because since the WTO has been established, this is the first time we have an agreement, trade agreement of such magnitude. So really seizing fully such opportunity as a game changer to paving the way, the transformation, structural transformation on Africa economies, building on the many strides that African countries are doing, because we have reached the mini tribe, will be really critical to moving forward toward a sustainable, inclusive, and development across the continent. I can give more insight into the what needs to be done, but let me pause here.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for that, Mrs. Diop. And Engineer Sombol, so infrastructure challenges were raised there as a major issue, and financing hurdles for companies involved in trade is another issue. How does the ITFC plan to support the rollout of the African Continental Free Trade Area, particularly in the 6 countries named in the report? Over to you, Engineer Sombol.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In fact, if we look at how ITFC was involved, actually, since the beginning, since the establishment of ITFC in 2008, and continuation of what IDB did over the last 4 decades for Africa. In fact, ITFC really had Africa as one of the priority area, knowing that there are challenges that ITFC can really contribute to, and that's why our plan since the beginning was really for really facilitating and also trying to help in facing and encountering these challenges. So, in fact, the challenges are mentioned, but I can say that the contribution of the ITFC, now we can say that we are close to $25 billion across the 31 countries in Africa, which was actually represent the almost 42% of the total ITFC approvals, which is now close to 60 billion of trade finance and trade development for Africa. As we have also in our strategy, we've already incorporated a number of really important programs for Africa, and now, of course, with this introduction of when the CFTA became effective now, I think these programs will serve very well, actually, the different member countries in Africa. Africa will not benefit actually from this agreement unless countries are prepared to really, revisit and restructure and introduce reforms at all fronts, because at the end of the day, maybe we can see from the reports there, some countries are more prepared than others. And that's why for the countries to really have really the maximum benefit from this agreement, I think Africa has also, African countries has also to really emphasize the need of building their capacities so that they can benefit. And this is where ITFC can also support. We have been really extending financing to different sectors in Africa. Of course, in the past, we were focusing on energy and agriculture and maybe other important sectors. Recently, we have been really focusing on health, especially, after this pandemic in 2020. We have new sectors in Africa also supporting the SMEs and also financial institutions in Africa. But as you can see, and also from what we have seen, that the analysis really does not, maybe the analysis are for 6 countries, but definitely ITFC has almost, as I said, 23 member countries in Africa, and they all will benefit from this agreement. This time we are focusing, of course, on these 6 countries, and definitely the analysis shows that the intra-African trade transformation in these countries will be also driven by the changes in productions and trade structures, and also to help the countries take advantage of these changes. we should really continue really focusing on how, as partners, can really extend all the support and financing that is required to fill the gap that was mentioned. We all know that the gap, the trade finance, especially in Africa, is between 90 and 100 billion of US dollars, maybe more. But the enterprises cross borders, trade really ambitions, struggles to access finance. I'm sure that the CFTA will be also the solution for that. So if I would like to say that the program that were introduced by ITFC, in addition to the financing, because we felt that a new business model is required, especially in least developed member countries, by including the trade development pillar there, and try to introduce integrated solutions for our member countries. These integrated solutions, of course, include the capacity building, and it will tackle also the challenges related to human capital that is needed to really match the requirements of the CFTA, as mentioned, and also tackle areas like also technology and reducing the gap, because the technological gap now is becoming also an issue, and we need to really focus on that. These programs, we call them the flagship programs of ITFC. One of them is the famous Arab-Africa Trade Bridge program, which includes many, many partners, and we have many African countries already joined the program. And what is unique about this program, which will definitely help member countries in implementing the CFTA and make use of the potentials that is available. The Arab-Africa Trade Bridge also include, as I said, many partners. We have, the IDB, the Africa Exim Bank, BADIA, ISEC, ICD, and many others actually, who are working with us, the African Union. We try to, under this program, to provide a diverse, solutions for Africa. And the countries who already joined, they benefited a lot from this flagship program. Here talking about really the different pillars that the program is going to tackle, because, as I said, each partner has its own products, and we can really meet all the challenges, whether it is the infrastructure gap that was mentioned. We know the gap is big, and we, Arab-Africa Trade Bridge, also have projects that tackles really the infrastructure, and we also have the energy sector. As I said, ITFC has been really has a in-depth experience in really financing energy in Africa over the years. And of course, as I said, building the capacity for institutions in Africa is required, so that we can benefit from this agreement. So we worked very much from the first day with the CFTA Secretariat to see how also we build the capacities of the Secretariat, and also make sure that we can have programs to work with African countries and with our partners, of course. We feel that we are very active in this part. That's why we also have other important programs for the SMEs in Africa. For example, we have the West Africa SME Development Program, which covers, of course, the finance and the building capacity of SMEs in Africa. And we have good stories to tell.
Okay.
We are, of course, collaborating with IDB, UNICA, and the enhanced integrated framework to help 8 African countries implement their CFTA national strategies. And of course, this is in line with the national development plans. We hope that all what we are doing actually will help Africa benefit from this very important agreement.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Thanks very much for that, Engineer Sombo. And just quickly before we move on from the topic of infrastructure, this is the Could you just give a brief understanding about the types of infrastructure projects that need to be rolled out? Because obviously you're talking about that as being a big issue. We don't have too much time, so just like a brief layout of the types of infrastructure projects that need to be rolled out for the AfCFTA to be fully realised, that would be great. Sorry, you're just on mute at the moment. Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I think for the infrastructure project, there are different ones, but the key one are the following. The first one, as I said, is all infrastructure that is related to transport, for example, the road, and also cross-border road, for example, and the highway infrastructure, which is quite important. But those are the kind of infrastructure in terms of the transport, etc., and linking the different countries, the linking market. But in a wider term, infrastructure is not only about transport, it's not only about highway. Infrastructure in terms of the industrial part, what kind of equipment, be it in terms of the production, but also because Africa has a lot of potential when it comes to agriculture. And all the African countries that really are engaged, all of them are engaged in this implementation of the CFTA. They use agriculture value chain as the key first port to actually implement their CFTA national strategy. So being able to provide the heavy and modern equipment, agriculture solution is one of the infrastructure that they need. The other one are all infrastructure related to the new technology. Because across the board, be it in terms of the production, in terms of the value chain, you do need the different variety of agriculture, technology, ITC, etc. ITC, because of the high price of the brown bond, is actually deficit in the continent. Depending on the continent, there are regional variation, but we do need to invest on that and also bring to scale the ITC and technology on a wider term in the continent. For example, if you come to West Africa, from Senegal, Ghana to Niger, you find the difference is absolutely wide. So the priority is to be able to take it in a very tailor-made way and to respond to those very specific deficits from this country, link it to what actually are their comparative advantage in terms of the research endowment, what are the situation of the market, and how do you invest in infrastructure, technology, infrastructure, be able to bring them to the standard required to integrate the value chain at the regional level and of course the continental level. Another thing which is extremely important, as we said, is the whole issue of the legal part of it. What I say the legal part is the CFTA has dealt with all and anticipate all the kind of dispute, if I may, and all the legal issue related to it, and all the requirement of domesticating the key imperative of the CFTA in the national legal framework. Country now need more and very quick support in that case. How do they make sure that the rule of origin, for instance, is reflected and domesticate into the legal framework? How do they make sure that the whole package that facilitate the CFTA implementation in terms of the legal infrastructure are well taken into account? And it goes with the institutional framework and the institutional support. So energy infrastructure, transport highway infrastructure that can shorten the time you need from one country to another and the cross-border linkages. And of course, the new technology are critical infrastructure projects that we do have on the continent, but we need to bring to speed and to scale and really accelerate the pace in the path for the implementation of the CFTA.
Great.
Let me pause there.
Amazing. Thanks so much for that overview, Mr. Diop. And then obviously getting access to high quality data is also essential for the rollout of the AfCFTA. Coming to you, Mr. Dibba, from a research point of view, can you also briefly give us an idea of how improving access to knowledge, how AfCFTA can help improve access to knowledge and so ensure that better policy decisions are made?
Thank you. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, CSRIC plays a significant role in enhancing South-South cooperation among the OIC member countries. We initiate and implement various capacity building programs and training activities and wide range of socio-economic issues of interest to our member countries. Currently, we have capacity building program on 24 specific socio-economic fields and areas. We implement these programs through various modalities, including matching the needs and capacities training courses, training workshops, study visits, and technical missions, networking, and skill development. Mainly, our capacity building programs aim at supporting and contributing to the efforts of our member countries to enhancing the institutional and the human resources capacities of their national institutions working in the domain of these areas. Our approach is mainly based on the idea of matching the needs and capacities of the national institutions through certain modalities. As I mentioned, through sending experts to offer training courses or organizing study visit, technical missions, and networking. And within this, with this, we facilitate the transfer and sharing of knowledge, experience, and best practices and skill development among the member countries. So with our long experience, I believe that our center, CISRIC, serve as an active catalyst for initiating and furthering cooperation among the member countries within the context of South-South cooperation. As highlighted in the report, the agreement may cause significant transformation in economic activities. Productive resources are likely to be reallocated across sector to align the new domestic and foreign demand patterns and to utilize the potential benefits of trade liberalization. This structural change in economic activities may entail the demand for certain new skills. Short-term unemployment may increase as a result of changing demand for labor. This also affects the wages and income levels, with further implications on income distributions and poverty. So in order to reduce the impact on long-term unemployment, efforts should be made to improve the skills and capacities of labor force in line with the needs of labor market. In other words, there is a need to enhance the institutional and human resources of the national institution working in the relevant domains. In this context, I would like to mention that in our capacity as the executing organ of the OIC Vocational Education and Training Program, OIC VET, CISRIC, we organize capacity building activities in the area of technical and vocational education and training for the benefit of the national vocational education institutions in our member countries. So within the framework of the OIC VET program, we can play an active role in planning and implementing various activities under various fields of vocational and technical education for the benefits of the partner countries in the agreement. Just to mention a recent example, we have organized in February this year a training workshop on institutional capacity building for effective labor market information system. This training workshop was attended by 94 participants from public employment agencies and authorities and relevant national institutions in 23 OIC member countries. In terms of addressing sectoral impacts, we organize various sectoral capacity building programs, including agriculture and food security, which can be utilized by the member countries with a view to better utilizing the agreement, as some of them are expected to experience some sort of structural transformation. Maybe just to mention a recent example, we have organized in May this year a training course on developing livestock production and animal husbandry to foster food security. And also this training course, this was attended by almost 90 participants from relevant national institutions in 19 member countries. Such programs would be beneficial of the countries where their agricultural activities are expected to grow as a result of the free trade agreement.
Fantastic. So I was just going to say, Mr. Zubair, we're running out of time for the panel session. So yeah, if you were able to sum up your final comments in the next minute or so, that would be fantastic.
So there are many examples, but all our capacity building programs, we have questionnaire for each program, and all these questionnaires are available in our website in the 3 languages of the OIC. So I'm inviting the partner member countries to visit our website and fill in this questionnaire, send them back to us, and we can immediately start the preparation for such kind of capacity building activities. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And thanks to Mr. Diop and Mr. Sombol as well for all your insights there. The next decade sounds like it'll be a very exciting one for Africa. And it sounds like all three of your organizations will be helping governments with the implementation of the FTA. So now in that panel, we've covered some high level and wide ranging issues for countries across the continent. But as was touched on, the challenges and opportunities born from the AfCFTA will very much vary from country to country. While one nation might see its metal sector exports rise, another may see them drop. And rates of economic growth are obviously going to differ, or those were the findings from the report. So in this next Q&A session, we have an amazing opportunity to hear from representatives of AfCFTA state parties. We have the Chief Negotiator of the AfCFTA for Guinea, Mr. Salih El Sal, the Chief Negotiator for Tunisia, Mr. Chowki Jabali, and the Deputy Chief Negotiator for Senegal, Mrs. Astoussi. All three played a significant role in getting the African Continental FTA over the line. So it's a real pleasure to have all three of you here today. And it'd be great to get some insights from all of you on the findings of the report and what the findings mean for your countries. So initially, I just wanted to come to Mr. Salih El Sal, Chief AfCFTA Negotiator for Guinea. So out of 6 countries named in the report, Guinea is expected to benefit most from the liberalisation of trade tariffs. Which sectors do you foresee will see a boost to production most in the coming few years? Over to you, Mr. Sal. Perfect.
Je vous remercie tous et je vous salue. Je remercie les organisateurs de cette rencontre importante. Je voudrais être un peu discriminatoire en présentant à Madame Astoussi des hommages différents parce qu'elle porte le nom de la mère. Dans le cadre de la libéralisation de l'ECAF, la libération totale, en maximisant les choses, les secteurs économiques en Guinée qui profiteront de cela sont d'abord les secteurs prioritaires qui sont définis dans l'accord lui-même, c'est-à-dire le transport, les services portuaires, la communication, pour ne pas dire les nouvelles techniques d'information, les finances, les services aux entreprises. Deuxièmement, cela permettra un développement plus favorable des programmes structurants que nous avons dans les secteurs de l'énergie, de l'agriculture et des mines. Troisièmement, cela permettra un développement des chaînes de valeur agricoles pour la création d'entreprises agro-industrielles pour une plus grande productivité et compétitivité des produits agricoles guinéens exportables qui sont en majorité bio, très peu d'engrais, pas de pesticides, et qui seront transformés sur place pour une plus grande valeur ajoutée avant exportation. Ensuite, quatrièmement, cela nous permettra d'avoir une meilleure structuration du commerce transfrontalier avec les pays voisins pour en connaître la nature, la quantité et la valeur des produits échangés. Ça se fait depuis des siècles, mais j'avoue que je ne maîtrise pas ça très bien. Cinquièmement, cela permettra la mise en place d'un cadre plus favorable à l'investissement direct étranger, mais aussi à l'investisseur guinéen, car le pays aura besoin de beaucoup de ressources pour se mettre au niveau d'autres économies africaines plus avancées. Sixièmement, cela permettra une meilleure allocation de ressources de la part des pouvoirs publics et même du secteur privé pour la formation technique et professionnelle en vue d'une adéquation formation, emploi pour réduire la pauvreté et les risques de troubles sociaux. Voilà ce que je voulais dire et je vous remercie de votre attention. Merci.
Fantastic. There's some really interesting comments, Mr. Sal. And now to Tunisia. Mr. Jabali, Tunisia is a major exporter to the European Union, with the report noting that from 2010 to 2019, 73% of its exports went to the bloc. Do you see the FTA drastically changing those trade flows and convincing companies to export to counterparts on the continent instead?
Oui, bonjour, merci beaucoup, merci au modérateur, merci pour l'invitation, Son Excellence, Monsieur le directeur de l'AfCFTA et pour l'invitation en général. Merci beaucoup. Donc, pour répondre à vos questions, c'est vrai que la Tunisie a toujours été orientée en termes d'échanges commerciaux avec l'Europe, avec, comme l'a mentionné le rapport, près des 3/4 des échanges de la Tunisie et des exportations sont destinés aux pays européens. Les exportations vers l'Afrique en 2020 n'ont pas dépassé les 10%, et vers l'Afrique subsaharienne, c'est à peu près elles ont toujours été au-dessous de 3%. Ceci est dû vraiment vraisemblablement à plusieurs raisons. Essentiellement, il faut rappeler que la Tunisie est le premier pays de la rive sud du Méditerranée à avoir signé un accord d'association avec l'Union européenne en 1995. Et puis aussi, cette proximité géographique qui fait que les échanges de la Tunisie sont beaucoup plus ancrés avec l'Union européenne. On peut mentionner aussi l'existence d'une bonne majorité d'entreprises européennes implantées en Tunisie en vertu de la loi 72 sur les entreprises totalement exportatrices, ou bien la loi offshore. Et puis, je peux mentionner également une infrastructure logistique et de transport, mais aussi de paiement plus favorable envers l'échange avec l'Europe. Des barrières non tarifaires aussi moins contraignantes, puisque la majorité des produits tunisiens donc, sont conformes aux exigences de normes au niveau européen. Et puis, une participation, disons, en amont dans les chaînes de valeur mondiales donc, de la Tunisie, étant donné que la part de la valeur ajoutée étrangère, notamment européenne, elle est importante. Donc, la part de la valeur ajoutée incorporée dans les exportations tunisiennes, elle est importante. Vu le besoin du pays en produits intermédiaires, donc pour le besoin de son industrie, et donc le pays se positionne en aval de la chaîne de production et par conséquent il reste beaucoup plus lié en aval dans la chaîne de production avec l'Union européenne. Voilà quelques raisons qui font que la Tunisie a toujours été liée avec l'Union européenne dans les échanges. Pour être réaliste, je dirais que le changement ne sera pas radical. Et d'ailleurs, le changement radical n'est pas un objectif en soi. On ne peut pas espérer changer une configuration de 75% d'échanges vers un bloc régional avec un bloc de 3% donc, dans des années. Donc, il est évident que le changement sera progressif vers non pas un équilibre, mais plutôt une amélioration de la part du marché africain dans les échanges de la Tunisie. D'ailleurs, même l'étude actuelle le prouve, bien qu'elle cette étude ne prend pas, à mon avis, compte de plusieurs éléments, tels que par exemple les barrières non tarifaires, les services, etc. Les raisons de changement progressif, je pense, et désolé d'être un peu lent, juste je vais terminer maintenant, le niveau d'ambition de la SDCAF me semble un peu moins ambitieux. 3% de liste négative est un peu trop en termes d'ambition pour les pays africains. Certaines études montrent que 3% des lignes tarifaires exclues peuvent constituer à peu près 98% des échanges d'un pays. Donc, si on exclut 3%, c'est un peu trop. Donc, il y a pas mal d'outils qui ont été mis en place par la SLECAF pour assister les pays africains dans la mise en œuvre de la SDCAF. Je cite à titre d'exemple la facilité d'ajustement et le système de paiement de règlement implémenté par l'Afrique-Bank et aussi le système d'élimination des barrières non tarifaires et surtout la disponibilité de l'information commerciale. Donc, pour que la Tunisie change d'orientation, il faut monter en gamme dans les chaînes de valeur. Il faut exporter des produits intermédiaires à haute valeur ajoutée en Afrique. Il faut prévoir un système de financement durable, assurer un secteur de transport solide et permettre un certain niveau de mobilité des hommes d'affaires. Voilà, merci beaucoup.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Mr. Jirali. That's some really interesting points there. I'm very aware we're running slightly over time, but I do really want to come to Mrs. Asso C, Deputy Chief Negotiator for the AfCFTA for Senegal. Just finally, the final question to round us off. Mrs. C, the effects of removing non-tariff barriers such as import restrictions and quotas aren't really considered in the report. How important will their removal be for countries such as Senegal for the AfCFTA to be effectively rolled out?
Merci beaucoup. Je profite de l'occasion pour remercier au nom du gouvernement du Sénégal la Banque islamique de développement et AfCFTA en particulier pour avoir organisé ce panel. Déjà sur l'étude pays, nous pensons que voilà, c'est des éléments d'appréciation de plus que ça offre aux pays membres de la ZLECAF dans un contexte où nous sommes en train de mettre en place ce qu'on appelle les facilités d'ajustement de la ZLECAF. Et véritablement, l'état de préparation des pays vont permettre d'avoir donc les leviers, les mesures d'accompagnement appropriées pour ces pays. Concernant les barrières non tarifaires, qui sont considérées comme les principaux obstacles aux échanges, dans la mesure où le faible niveau du commerce intra-africain s'explique principalement par l'existence de ces barrières. Nous, au niveau du Sénégal, en réalité, nous sommes engagés véritablement dans la mise en œuvre du mécanisme pour l'identification et l'élimination des barrières non tarifaires, dont le Sénégal est pays pilote. Depuis sa mise en place par la CNUSAD. Et nous sommes confortés dans cette orientation par une étude qui avait été réalisée en 2013 par le Centre pour le commerce international, une étude de cas de notre pays, qui a montré que les mesures non tarifaires non seulement affectent beaucoup les entreprises, notamment les entreprises qui commercialisent les produits agricoles, mais la plupart de ces obstacles sont des obstacles procéduraux qui concernent plus d'un tiers des échanges, des expéditions, et également les mesures d'évaluation de la conformité, comme un peu ce qui est lié à la mise en conformité des normes, les questions de traçabilité. La ZLECAF nous offre l'opportunité véritablement d'engager la mise en œuvre peut-être de mécanismes qui nous permettront davantage d'identifier et d'éliminer les barrières non tarifaires. Et l'orientation qui a été prise au niveau du Sénégal, c'est qu'au niveau institutionnel déjà, le cadre de mise en œuvre, c'est le Comité national de facilitation des échanges. Parce que lorsqu'on parle de barrières non tarifaires, on l'envisage du point de vue véritablement de tout ce qui est facilitation du commerce. Ça, c'est la première orientation. La seconde orientation, c'est un peu la rationalisation des mécanismes d'alerte sur ces obstacles, parce que comme vous le savez, au niveau des communautés économiques régionales, et notamment au niveau de l'UEMOA, dont le Sénégal est également membre, il y avait ce qu'on appelle un mécanisme d'alerte aux obstacles au commerce. Et actuellement, nous sommes en train de travailler sur un atelier pour voir comment on va mettre en synergie ces deux mécanismes, et nous sommes dans les prochains jours, nous aurons l'accompagnement, notamment en tout cas de la Banque mondiale dans le cadre un peu de ce qu'on appelle le programme régional de facilitation de l'Afrique de l'Ouest de la CEDEAO. Également, nous avons, avec la CNUSET, donc initié une cartographie des mesures non tarifaires que nous sommes en train de boucler. Et enfin, toujours dans ce cadre-là, peut-être ce qu'il faut dire, ce qu'on a comme une orientation très profonde, c'est un peu l'articulation du processus d'intégration avec ce qu'on appelle un peu le raffermissement du commerce frontalier, notamment avec nos pays voisins, le Mali, la Gambie, avec lesquels nous avons des accords de coopération, dans le cadre duquel également les domaines visés sont l'élimination des barrières non tarifaires, avec en perspective des plans d'action qui vont nous permettre d'identifier au cas par cas ces types de barrières et pouvoir les résoudre à l'amiable avant même de penser un peu au règlement des différends ou aux mécanismes régionaux. Je vais m'en arrêter là en remerciant également mes co-panélistes, donc mes chers frères négociateurs, notamment M. Sow de la Guinée et M. Diabali de la Tunisie. Merci beaucoup.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Mr. C, and also to Mr. Sow and Mr. Jabali, and then also to our earlier panelists as well, Engineer Hani Salam Sombol, Mr. Nabil Zabur, and Mrs. Ngone Diop. I feel we covered lots of ground today, and obviously there are lots of opportunities and there'll be challenges ahead. Energy and infrastructure seem like there'll be two potential pitfalls for countries to navigate as they work to implement the FTA. But yeah, we're running short of time now. I believe there was a question from the audience asking where they can find the report. You can now access that on the AfCFTA website. And yeah, amazing. Thanks so much for everyone tuning in today. And to our panelists once again, it's been a pleasure to speak with all of you today.